Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Oh! Oh!
And
Oh!
up.
Oh!
Yeah. Hey.
Arr! Arr!
Rawr.
That was some Funkmaster Flex. Hey, what's up? Oh, right, we're doing an MMA show. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is an MMA show. Let's be clear. This is not just a UFC preview show. This is MMA Fighting's Bellator 300 and UFC Vegas 80 pre-fight Q&A. Guys, apologies for the delay. We're juggling a lot of balls here. We're spinning a lot of plates, but we're very happy to be here to answer some questions. We will stay on as long as we can, guys, so we'll go over time. Apologize for the wait. Thank you, guys. This is Alexander K. Lee. Here's my face. Hello, everyone. And, of course, I'm joined by producer extraordinaire, man on the road.
That's me.
Casey Leydon.
Yeah.
Thanks, Casey.
In beautiful San Diego, which is
Casey,
German
what?
for something.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Nobody knows.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Casey, what do we have for questions right now? I think we have a lot of people waiting in line. We must have some. I actually wasn't looking.
You want to do small talk first? We're going to go straight to the questions. Like, how you doing? How's your week?
We would have had time for small talk if we hadn't started. I don't know. We're 20 minutes, 30 minutes from showtime. So see what we can do here for the people.
For the people. All right, we'll go to the people. What your people got for us? All right, let me see what you got.
UFC, Bellator. What do we got?
All right. First question. I'm not even reading these questions. I'm just gonna pop them on the screen, and hopefully they're decent.
Oh, Nam Kablam wants to know: wouldn't it be so Bellator if Liz Carmouche loses and the women's flyweight title becomes vacant? That happens.
Bellator? What is that? I think that's just so MMA.
Yeah, pretty much very MMA in general. It does. I guess it does feel like these weird things. Has it happened in Bellator before? It sounds familiar. Didn't it happen somewhat recently? Maybe not in Bellator, but another promotion. People in the comments, if you want to remind me what Namco Blam's referring to, please go ahead. But yeah, I don't think it's very. I think saying something has gone, very Bellator. I was trying to compile all the weirdness in my head as I was doing the predictions for Bellator 300 this week, and with any promotion, there's a lot of high points and there's a lot of weird points. So yeah, there's been some Bellator weirdness. I don't think the promotion is distinctly strange. I think you can certainly point to like decisions that have been made and then results that maybe didn't go their way, but I don't know if they're that weird. So if we would just want to say, wouldn't it be strange if this happened, and wouldn't it be a fitting sort of note for this event, which is already technically lost to title fights? I guess half a title fight.
But weren't people complaining that there were too many title fights? So isn't this a celebration? People,
I don't know.
Now down to twos. This is reasonable. Or two.
In fairness, I don't remember. I don't know if I saw fans. I didn't have the pulse of the fans on this one. I thought fans were okay with it. I think a lot of us in the media maybe were whinging a bit because we've seen cards that have 3 title fights drag, and so we're like, 4 title fights.
Well, and Scott Coker has been part of one of those in Strikeforce when I think he did the triple title fight CBS show, I believe. I think it was the Nashville card, right? Was that the Nashville card where the big riot broke out? Was that?
Yeah, and I think they all went to a decision, right? I think that was maybe one of the problems, right? And the decisions weren't bad; it just made the card feel really long. Yeah. So, but yeah, very unfortunate circumstance for anyone who, by any chance, doesn't know. Alima McFarland missed weight pretty badly for her last fight. Officially 1.6 pounds. There was 3 different weigh-ins. They kind of just ignored the last one because it sounds like she probably went back and maybe wasn't super clear on whether she could weigh in or not.
They just made her weigh in, even though she was like, she kind of told them that she wasn't going to make weight. They kind of, it was a weird, I don't know. I think we never, I'm assuming after the fight, we'll be able to ask Alima, why exactly did you come in higher on your whatever? But it happened. It's just a bummer. It's a bummer. Yeah, and I don't know if you saw Alima's post. She put on Instagram.
Yeah, she apologized. She apologized. Liz Carmouche is a very good friend of hers. Of course, she would never do anything intentionally or like disrespectfully. So, thankfully, I think it's water under the bridge. They're gonna go in there and have a fun fight. And I don't think there's any beef there. And again, nothing intentional. I think it just has to do with listen, Alima Lay. We know she probably has one foot out the door. She's mentioned the possibility of fighting again, but she's also said several times her dream is for her last fight to sort of be for the title with her good friend Liz Carmouche. So it's not for the title, but she's still getting what she wants. And maybe the discipline isn't quite there, and maybe this is the last time we see her.
And honestly, I mean, I don't know if you've kept up with Alima's social, her Instagram and all that stuff. Ever since the fires in Maui, she has devoted a lot of her energy into raising money and charity work for Maui. And I didn't talk to her about it, but I was going, oh man, that's a lot of emotional energy into her homeland, where she's from, and also preparing for arguably the toughest fight of her career, and possibly the final fight of her career. So I just feel she put a little too much weight on her, a little too much responsibility, and unfortunately, I think that it kind of, this is what happens. You miss weight for your championship fight, which sucks for Alima. Sucks for Bellator, sucks for Liz a bit, but it's still a title fight for her. But here we are. It happened, but I think once they get in the cage, it's gonna be fun. And yeah. But to answer your question, wouldn't it be so Bellator? I think it's just MMA, to be honest.
Casey, I see some people mentioning we're having some volume issues. I thought I was just too loud. People saying you might be low.
Too loud?
To me, you sound fine. To me, you sound perfect. But I don't know if it's coming out different on the show. I'm not sure. To me, it sounds normal.
Are they saying you're too low or I'm too?
I think I might be too loud, so I just lowered myself a little bit. So maybe
okay.
I think so.
You then.
Well, some people are saying you're also super low, so you might want to, if you can raise yourself. I don't know, Casey.
So wait, you're too loud and I'm too low?
I'm too loud and you're too low. Yeah, both.
Okay.
So I lowered myself a bit, and if you want to lower me a bit more and raise yourself up a bit. And,
check. Yeah. All right. Well, my meters look fine here. So.
While you're doing that, I'll read Sean, who says, "Hey, who's taking Green tonight over Dawson?" Let's go to the Tapology. See what the people are saying on Tapology. Casey, we have 92% Dawson. Very understandable. Grant Dawson undefeated in the UFC so far, 8-0-1. Has a pretty good style, I think, for fighting guys like Bobby Green. Typically doesn't get dominated by grapplers. Again, you can point to the Islam fight. That's fine. Islam is like in his own realm as a grappler, and Bobby Green took that fight on short notice. If you look at Bobby Green's long history, he's not getting like wrestled to death usually. But I also think that Grant Dawson is on another level of grappler as well. So I am predicting Grant Dawson to win with his grappling and possibly hand Bobby Green a rare submission. Casey, I don't know where you landed on this prediction.
Well, why am I coming in so low? I'm upset. People are saying my volume is low.
Yeah, I still hear people saying it.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm doing a
no worries.
setup here on the road.
This man is on the road. He is in San Diego. Yeah. He is in San Diego. You guys don't know what it's like out there on the mean streets of SD.
I had a very good avocado shake today in San Diego. Yeah. It was really wonderful.
Yeah. You sound louder to me now. So I hope that's coming through. But anyway.
I pumped it up a bit, so hopefully this is good. What were we talking about?
Well, let me ask you, how does Bobby Green win this? In a world where Bobby Green pulls off the upset, how does he do it, Casey?
He has to clip Grant Dawson at some point. Get him with some kind of check hook or something. I think he has to clip him and finish Bobby Green. Finish Grant Dawson. I can't see Bobby Green winning a decision, to be honest, with you. But Bobby Green can still hit you. I mean, he still hits hard. But yeah, I think this is a fight set up for Bobby Green to look great in, and it's gonna be tough for Bobby Green to win this fight.
You mean Grant Dawson? You mean it's built to make?
I'm switching names around. Yeah, this is a fight. This is a fight set up for Grant Dawson.
Is this the right fight for him at this stage of his career? Because he's kind of had some. He started at featherweight. Yeah, he kind of started at featherweight, and he wanted to do that. So he's really only returned to lightweight a couple of years ago. And there's still been issues with weight, by the way. He did miss weight for a fight with Mark Madsen. So is this the right opponent? Because Damir Ismagulov was a very good win. Damir is a top 15 or top 20 lightweight.
I think it's going to be I think that's a better win than potentially his win tonight, depending on I guess how he wins. I mean, I thought the Damir win, that was kind of like, I thought Damir was going to beat Grant, honestly. And he really impressed me with Grant's very disciplined wrestling, I would say.
Yeah.
Am I still too low? How am I too low?
No. I hear a lot of people saying it's better. It's fine. Casey,
All right.
If it's low, if you get some people, you know what? You'll figure. As long as you can hear him, his beautiful voice, then we're in good shape.
All right. I get louder on this thing.
But yeah, I don't mind the matchup. It did kind of come out of nowhere. It did feel like a strange one. But, the top, we say it all the time. It's hard to shake free one of those top 10 guys, one of those top 10 veterans. So, and listen, we saw them fight. With Fiziev fought recently. He fought Gamrot. Gamrot fought recently. That's 2 top 10 guys. We know 2 other spots. Whoa, no, now we're getting a lot of static, Casey. It was better before.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was better before.
Apologies.
That's fine. Just leave it. It's fine. I think leave it like this.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, so the names in the top 10 are already occupied. I just don't know if there's anyone Grant Dawson could have booked there. So Bobby Green, top 25 guy, top 30 guy in a very deep division. So I don't think it's a terrible matchup.
Overall, what's the pulse? Do people with 92% of people
92% Dawson.
So 92. So this seems like it's not a very. Is this a fight fans want if everyone's picking one side to win?
Was not. Speaking for Mike and myself, the official matchmakers of On to the next one, the voice of the fans, the voice of the people. I can tell you, it did not come up following either of these guys' most recent wins. I did not see a lot of Grant Dawson, Bobby Green, so it was surprising to me. It came out of nowhere. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, but to me, it did come out of nowhere. On DraftKings, Grant Dawson minus 500 favorite, massive favorite. So
yeah,
I don't know. Might be one reason I see people not super jacked about this card. But Joseph Bellotti, what an appropriate name. He wants to know, what is Bellator's legacy? Is your real name Joseph Bellotti? What is Bellator's legacy if they merge with the PFL next year? I wouldn't say they quite had the impact of Strikeforce. Strikeforce always felt like a really fun alternative with some great talent. It had a flavor. There was a flavor to Strikeforce. I think that Bellator never quite managed to establish. Everyone, all those talks of it just being sort of like, second tier to UFC I think in some ways are accurate. They did sign a lot of ex-UFC guys. They tried a bunch of different things.
Hey, UFC signs a lot of ex-Bellator guys too.
They do.
They say, dude, Chandler, come on. Chandler's like the Chandler Alvarez. Like a lot of. I mean,
there's some crossover.
It went both ways. It really went both ways. I mean, I'm talking
but
like
it feels
stars,
like
not just regular.
It does feel like the UFC gets them when they have a little more mileage on them. Like I'm talking about like Bellator signing like Tito Ortiz, Chael Sonnen. Bader was a good one. Bader was a good. Bader and Rory were good
Corey
ones.
Anderson.
Corey Anderson, another good one. Yeah, light heavyweights in general, I think they did a good job of getting while they still were in their primes.
Rory McDonald.
But they had their weird. Well, they had their weird freak show period though. That's what I'm saying. They had different period. They had the tournament period to start.
And that's when they were That's when they were their most popular too. That's the weirdest part. Like their freak show fights were the highest.
Tito, Rampage,
Kimbo, there's some
the Immortal Kimbo. Yeah. It's
this is my, when you ask me about Bellator's legacy, I think it is. What's the word? The legacy is almost, why weren't they bigger? Considering the talent they had at the top. Like right now, and I know everyone's going to be, Johnny Evelyn, he hasn't fought in a cage of 8 sides yet. He sucks. Johnny Evelyn, Patchy Mix, Sergio Pettis, who's there? Pitbull, Usman Nurmagomedov, Amasov, Johnny Evelyn, of course, Nemkov. All those champions, I think they're entirely competitive, and on the right night can absolutely beat the UFC champions. And if you say that about any other organization, you're like, you're crazy, but I really believe in Bellator. But even though that's true, there is just not interest in Bellator overall.
Well, they never
even with the hardcore fan base.
They've had a lot of great fighters, but they never found that star, Casey. They never found a crossover star. There's flashes. MVP went viral with a lot of his finishes. We thought AJ McKee, and after he beat Pitbull, I think the promotion kind of failed to capitalize on that a bit. It's almost like AJ just kind of disappeared. I'm not sure what you do, when a fighter's not fighting, how much promotion can do. So I will say that for Bellator, but it really felt like he won that fight, and there was just no follow up. And I know that was frustrating for a lot of us who thought like AJ could be one of those guys, not become like McGregor level, but at least could, break through a little bit, break through to the
And I still
mainstream.
think
He was so young.
he's I don't think
There's
he's
still
not one of
time.
those guys. Yeah, I don't think he's
Mm-hmm.
like I don't. He's still there. He's still like 27, 28.
Sure.
I still think Aaron Pico is going to be one of those guys, no matter where he fights, be it PFL, Bellator, potentially UFC. Who knows? But I absolutely believe the Aaron Pico experiment is going to pay off big time.
Mm-hmm. They had a lot of good ideas. They were very they went all in on a lot of Division I wrestling champions, All American wrestlers. And again, maybe who knows? Maybe one of those guys would have broken through. Again, none of them did. Bubba Jenkins was one of the early ones, and he took an upset loss early, and he's a very good fighter, but he just didn't become a star that they thought he would. So that's, I think, one thing that's always going to keep any promotion from not being able to cross over is, can you get that star? It doesn't even have to be a McGregor level. Can you get a GSP level star, Anderson Silva level star, a John Jones level star?
Who were the Strikeforce stars?
I mean, Ronda Rousey, Cyborg, right? Cyborg's huge.
Well, Bellator's
right?
still a Cyborg.
Bellator has Cyborg now, and she probably is still one of the bigger stars now. But there's something about quote unquote homegrown, like having a homegrown star that really gives you that reputation. And none of their homegrown stars really crossed over and landed. I think Chandler would probably be the best example. And then again, he's sort of gone over to the UFC. But Patricio Pitbull, great fighter, homegrown guy, not a huge star, right? Not a huge star. So we know they have good fighters, but stardom is elusive.
I think there were two differences between Strikeforce and Bellator. Mm-hmm. And this is why I honestly believe, I complain about this a lot. Strikeforce had the hexagon. Bellator's got that stupid circle cage. The circle cage is ugly. It's ugly. It produces bad fights often, and it
circle hater.
Oh, and it produces you're gonna have to stay with me for a bit. It produces bad iconic imagery, and I know this because Esther, my wife, the GOAT photographer, mixed martial arts photographer, she hates shooting in circular cages because everything's at a weird angle. It's hard to get iconic, great images from that cage, especially with there's a big apron too around the cage too. So you're shooting through a curved cage rather than a flat cage, and you're shooting about 2.5, 3 feet away from that cage. And essentially you just, from a photographic standpoint, you lose so many great shots because of the bad angles you have. And this is you look at a lot of photos from Pride and rings, or just boxing photos in general. You get great photos because you're right there and it's flat surface. So you just get amazing photos. And the circular cage just gives you really bad iconic imagery. And iconic imagery is important to the sport. I'm just people don't really think of that, but it really is.
Yeah.
Can you think of a great Bellator photo from a fight?
My memory is terrible, but no, nothing's jumping out at me.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But in your mind, you can think of, there's lots of famous UFC photos you can think of. The circular cage it's very difficult to get great photos, basically. Second thing is, when Strikeforce had its great run, how many shows was UFC doing a month?
Oh, back then, yeah, huge difference. Yeah, huge. No, sometimes one. Yeah, back then,
they'll compete one show a month, maybe two shows a month. Mm-hmm. There's a show every week, plus the Contender Series, plus some stupid news story about slap fighting or something crap like that.
Yeah.
Or tough,
Yeah, it's everywhere.
UFC is constantly in the news now with oversaturation. And while maybe some fans get annoyed if that, it's there was too much UFC, but we still have to cover it. And that just takes up all our kind of MMA energy in our head.
It takes up all the oxygen. It takes up all the oxygen in the room. It does.
The fact that we're even talking about just another UFC Apex card on the same level has Bellator 300, which has how many top 10 fighters on that card? Maybe maybe one of the best lightweights in the world we don't know about yet. Mm-hmm. Maybe the greatest female fighter ever is on that card. It's just they have amazing fighters on that card, but we still put it on the same level as a boring old Apex card. because there's always UFC storyline week after week after week, and Strikeforce did not have to deal with that in the same way.
No, that's a huge thing. I just want to we'll move on, but I just want to say other people mentioning the name. People don't like Bellator. I've always liked Bellator just because I'm tired of LFC, IFC, whatever, every promotion out there. But there is something to be said about simplicity. There is something to be said about people when they talk about sports. That's just how they think of leagues, right? They just think of them by initials. Initials are very powerful, and that's something Bellator missed the boat on. I still like it, but if you look at the majority, I would say if you poll the majority of MMA fans or even sports fans, like, what do you think of the name Bellator MMA? You get a pretty cold reaction. It's never landed, I think, the way they wanted to. And again, that's unfortunate because I wish we could do different things with promotional names. But sometimes convention is convention for a reason. So that's certainly a reason. I see people pointing that out. What else did someone say? Well, we can move on. Oh, Timothy Fern wants to know, Casey and Alex, if the UFC got 5 Bellator fighters, who are you taking? I'll go Usman, Amasov, Nemkov, McKee, and maybe Pico/Kyoji. That's a really good list.
I forgot about Kyoji. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. Pico for sure. Usman Nurmagomedov for sure. Nemkov, and then McKee for sure.
Where's Evelyn? Where's Evelyn?
I just don't want to copy this list because this is a very good list. You really can't go wrong with these names that I picked. But I will say, for me, the locks are Pico, Usman Nurmagomedov, and AJ McKee. I think those are the locks. If you're UFC, you would have to take those guys. Love Nemkov, love Amasov. I don't know if the UFC would view them as being like having, quote unquote star power, whatever that means. And Casey, I think Eblin's a bit the same way. I think Eblin sadly might be in the same boat. I don't know what his Q rating is, which is a shame because he's a very good fighter. But
it sucks because that's what we talk about. We don't talk about who's the best fighter. We talk about, but is he a star? Like, it matters. Like, I don't care if they're a star. Like, as a fan, I want to see the best fighter. That's what I want to see. But I'm also realistic, and I realize I think most fans don't want to see the best fighters. They want to see the most entertaining fighter. They'll say they want to see the best fighter, but they really want to see the most entertaining fighter in and out of the cage. And that's why Eblin is not on this list. But for some reason, I think because Pico just destroys people.
Yeah. And he's still young. He's exciting. Like, you feel like 26. win or lose, you feel like he has like so many highlights ahead of him. Like, I feel like if you throw him, there's just a lot of great opponents.
Second for second of action, he's right up there. He's like pound for pound, just all action fighter. He's like right up there. Well, no one's Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje is just a different level, but he's But I kind of feel that same way about him. Just like when he's in there, like it is going to be a train wreck for the other guy, and he might get caught, but because he's so aggressive. But after watching his last fight against Carvalho, like, dude, he's coming together. Like the Pico experiment is just it's so fine tuned right now.
Yeah, and if I had to take one other bantamweights, I'd actually probably take Patchy. If I had to choose one, I love Kyoji, love Sergio. I think Patchy would be like my number one pick. If I had to pick only, I'd take a bunch of bantamweights if I could. If I had to take one bantamweight from Bellator, I would take Patchy.
Dude, you take all their champions, every champion.
Yeah,
yes. Give me five. Actually, give me 5 non-champions.
That's the tough one. That's a tough one. I've listened off the top of my head. I'm having some of them are former UFC. Like, I feel like Saba Homasi. I'd love to bring him back. Right? I mean, they're talking about guys that are just nonstop excitement.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy who smoked Homasi. Oh my God.
I forgot his name.
See, this is. I played Bellator. Yeah. Oh, I took Chukeli. Levon Chukeli.
Yeah. Bring him in. There are so many good fighters from Bellator to bring over. I don't know. It's
Dante Shiro, just so I can keep making Taylor Swift anti-hero jokes. Anyway. Two people know what I'm talking about right now. Are there any Vegas 80 questions, Casey? I doubt it. Vegas 80 is kind of starting now, kind of not really. They're still chattering. We've got John Gooden, Paul Felder, and Daniel Cormier in the
Shelby.
Apex.
We care because we care about mixed martial arts. So
yeah, Shelby Cruz.
Shelby.
Talk about the 300 events.
Jeez, Shelby. All right. See any good questions?
I don't see a lot. I did not see a lot of Vegas. I apologize, viewers, if I just missed it. They might have been at the beginning. I'll scroll back to the beginning, Casey. Let me see if there was a Vegas question. We talked about the main event. Nanclet, what single fight are you most looking forward to today? I weirdly really want to see, and there's some really good fights on Vegas 80. I need to see Chris Cyborg and Zingano just because it's been talked about for so long.
Yeah,
I
I'm
still,
excited.
yeah.
People were kind of poo pooing on Cyborg
Well,
now. I don't get it. Like
well,
Cyborg's.
oh,
Are
I
people
don't know
just
why
tired of
they're not.
Cyborg? She's been doing this at
Yeah,
this high level for 15 plus years. 15 plus years, she's
yeah.
been right there at the very top. And are
Well,
people just bored? I don't get it.
I do think the problem with Cyborg is when is the last time she was matched someone up with someone that someone thought like they had any chance of beating her, and that's not her fault. She's just that damn good. It's not Bellator's fault. Featherweight is not a women's featherweight is not a deep division. Um, so it's nobody's fault. But I still just like watching her do her thing. There's a part of me
Yeah.
that I don't care. It's like let me watch the greats cook. Let me watch the greats cook, and she's really fun to watch. And for me, Kat Zingano also I think she has like she'll write a book someday and like has one of the most like roller coaster in a world full of roller coaster stories like in MMA. Everyone has one. I understand. Her story is just so crazy. From when she finally got to the UFC and everything that happened in her personal life and getting a title shot and ending so poorly and all these injuries she had to deal with and then coming to Bellator and this weird chase / non-chase of Cyborg. I can't believe the fight actually is even finally happening. Fingers crossed. We don't see anything strange happen in the next, few hours that makes the fight not
Remember
happen.
Kat was in the crazy fight where like her eyeball got sliced
Yeah,
by
that was so
Megan Anderson's
random.
toe.
What a random and scary,
she
scary
almost
loss.
she almost lost her freaking eyeball in a fight. Like people
Definitely.
forget about that. It's just
Yeah.
it's just her crazy career, and obviously lots of like personal trauma. Like you can look into that. It's not. I don't think it's appropriate to get into right now. But hey, man, Kat Zingano, man, she's done it. She got to that big title fight in the UFC and probably had one of the most, I hate saying it, one of the most kind of humiliating losses in the sense that she got armbarred in 10 seconds.
14 seconds.
14 seconds.
She rushed in and just got caught by peak Rousey. I mean, it could have happened to almost anybody. On paper, she actually seemed like a pretty good matchup for Rousey.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of great. If you guys go through your ancient archives, a lot of great stories written about Kat Zingano before that story. And like, man, if she wins this, she'll be a big deal in her own right. And it just doesn't go that way sometimes. And she's had to wait a very long time for the Cyborg fight and another chance at a world title. So I'm not giving her much of a chance. I'm Cyborg all the way. I think Cyborg handles Kat Zingano pretty easily. But I want to know. I think it would be a shame if we never saw this.
I always want to see Kat Zingano. I mean, I always want to see Cyborg do her thing. I don't care how much of a favorite she is. She's just such a unique, one-of-a-kind fighter. There's no other Chris Cyborg. I don't see another Chris Cyborg coming up in the regional circuit. There's still only one Chris Cyborg. And we get to see her tonight. And who knows how many times we're gonna get to see Chris Cyborg fight in MMA again. So cherish these moments, MMA fans. That's what I say.
Casey, let me grab a couple of good, just very specific Vegas 80 questions from. We can answer these quickly. Plushy Pictures. Yeah. Does Joaquin Buckley have a chance to make more of an impact at 170? Alex Morano is oddly good at derailing hype. I'll say I've probably been higher on Buckley than most have been. Maybe I'm dazzled by some of the highlights and I've shrugged off some of his less impressive performances, but I always want to see him go back down to 170. He's looked pretty good back at this weight class. So yes, I do think he can be a contender at 170. That's my opinion. Alex Morano, very, very tough. Not an easy fight. Not a fight designed to showcase him, I don't think, but I think there will be an opening for him to do something special.
I love this fight because it's the two opposite physiques, and they're both equally as dangerous. Like Buckley looks amazing coming off the bus. Morono looks like a dude coming off a bus.
An in shape dude. An in shape dude.
In shape. But no, honestly, you saw both those guys walking down the street with their shirts off. You're like, oh man, that guy. Buckley looks impressive, and he just like he took his freaking shirt off during the media day just to show off his physique. And obviously we know that that doesn't mean too much in this sport. Otherwise, everyone would just be a bodybuilder. But I just love that dynamic about MMA. How you can look like Buckley, you can look like Morono, and yet at the same time be equally as dangerous with your hands and feet. hands yeah.
Let me first off give people an update. You know, we don't need to rush to these questions, Casey, because did you see the timer? Are you watching? Do you have Fight Pass in another screen somewhere?
No. What's going on?
Well, we got a timer for our first fight. It's not coming on for another at least 20 minutes.
We're not going that long.
Casey, we can. We're here. Well, anyway, we'll just say that we're not in a rush. I'll leave it to you.
We're not in a rush.
Sign off. The other question from this is a weird one. Shelby Crusoe's asking, does Abdul Razak Al Hassan stand a chance against the full foot taller Joe Pyfer? Is this a meme? Is this a meme I'm not aware? He's not a full foot taller. Is this a meme I'm not aware of? Is there a joke? Is there a joke about Pyfer's height or something that I missed? Or Al Hassan? I'm sorry. Maybe I haven't been keeping up with the Fight Week chatter. He is taller. Pyfer listed at 6'2", significantly taller, 6'2". Al Hassan listed at 5'10". Full foot taller though. That's I win. This isn't Stefan Struve and Dennis Stonich. Look that one up, guys. There's a little deep cut for you. We're talking about freak show.
But Hassan being the former welterweight, correct? He was the
former. Well, yes, he's going up to 185. He's been back at 185, but yes, he was competing at 170 for a while. Does he have a chance? He certainly has a chance. I'm going Pyfer. Yeah,
I'm gonna go Pyfer, but I think this is a showcase fight for Pyfer. Fighting this relatively small middleweight, and I think Pyfer is a pretty big middleweight, and giving this a co-main event spot against an action fighter like Hassan is it's definitely it's set up to be a showcase fight for Pyfer. Obviously, how do you say his name? Abdul Razak Al Hassan.
Al Hassan, yep.
Yeah, Al Hassan obviously has a great chance to win the fight, but I think from the UFC's perspective, because if you came to the Contender Series, they're always rooting for you, basically.
Al Hassan is such a weird guy because he, up until his most recent fight, well, all his wins are by knockout, and up until his most recent fight, all happened in the first round. Other than that, I think I want to say he's lost every decision he's gone to. I will fact check myself real quickly. So 12 wins, all by knockout. All were first rounders except for he just beat Claudio Ribeiro in the second round, even though it was 28 seconds into the second round. So 1 loss by knockout, 4 losses by decision. So if it goes to the cards, he's almost, again, does not have a great history. He's hard to knock out. Again, it has not happened in a while. He had a shocking knockout loss to Chaos Williams, which, again, just happened in the blink of an eye. And I think Pyfer can do that to him too. I also think Pyfer may consider mixing the martial arts. I think he hasn't had to show in the UFC. I'm pretty sure he's a decent wrestler, and may want to try doing that against Al Hassan, who's has a judo background, but we don't see a lot of that either. It's a weird fight. This is a weird fight. It's not. I don't want to call it a middleweight fight because I think Pyfer's very distinct, but it could be a weird one. I will say. Hopefully, someone finishes someone.
Is this a proper Apex co-main event?
Oh God, no.
No? Okay.
No, this is a penultimate fight. There is no co-main.
Oh, gotcha. I got you. Yeah, you're right. I agree. The matchup makes sense, but this isn't a co-main. Honestly, I don't think this fight really is a main event either. I think it's just kind of lots of fights with
any of these other
more important higher rankings as you go up the card.
Because you could have put Dober Galen in the second spot, and nobody would have blinked. You could have put Morano Buckley in the second spot, no one would have blinked. So nothing's jumping out as a co-main. I guess they didn't have a random heavyweight fight they could throw on there. That's something they usually love to do. Like if there's a heavyweight, they should have put Lins and Kuchalaba. That would have been, because they're 2 light heavyweights who fight like heavyweights. So I don't know, and Lin's a former heavyweight. So I would.
I want to know why Kuchalaba can't fight in the green paint. Is that against the rules?
I'm nearly certain it is against.
I've read the rules, and in Vegas, there's nothing that says no Hulk paint.
Why did he look like Eddie Hearn at the media day? That was scary. Someone commented that on Twitter because he came in a suit looking really nice and clean, and someone was like, "Why does he?" I saw multiple people. I think, "Why does he look like Eddie Hearn?" I'm like, "Wow, he looks a lot like Eddie Hearn right now."
He probably came back from a job interview. Who knows?
Maybe. Was he like a 20 fight UFC veteran? Needs some extra scratch on the side. This is his 18th UFC appearance for Yuan Kuchalaba. Just the 6th for Felipe Lins, former PFL heavyweight champion, as we all know. 2018. We all remember Philip Lins winning the 2018 PFL tournament, of course. Oh, sorry, I didn't see there was a new question on the screen. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Dax Shoof wants to know, why does Bobby Green always start beef against everybody? Man, I mean,
Does he?
some. What do you say about
I,
Grant Dawson this week?
I saw the little weird weigh-in, and it was just like
Yeah,
this awkward
the face
thing,
off, the
like
face off. Yeah,
the face off. Yeah, they're fighters. I mean, he's a fighter. He just like it's for a lot of these guys. It's hard to get motivated to beat up someone that you have no beef with. So you have to create anxiety. You have to create some type of antagonism. You gotta like, it's hard to beat up people if you don't want to. And people have different, and that's how Bobby Green flows. He needs that aggressive energy. That's all.
Every athlete in every sport motivates themselves in different ways, right? Some guy you've seen in look at basketball. Look at Patrick Beverly or something like that. Like everyone, some guys are super calm. They don't want to have anything in their minds when they step into the court or step into the field, step into the octagon, step into the ring. Other guys are like, no, I need to have some animosity towards my opposition. That is what gets me going. I need that bulletin board material, and I think that's how Bobby Green is. And guess what? He's been fighting for 15 years, almost 50 pro fights. I think he knows what he's doing. So that's how Bobby Green gets down. That's really the best answer. That's how Bobby Green gets down.
Right,
Casey, let me answer one. Oh, okay. Go ahead. What do you got? Pro Fights Info. Who was the greatest fighter in Bellator history? I think it has to be Patricio Pitbull, right? What do you got, Casey?
I guess I'll go Pitbull. Yeah, Patricio. Yeah, the younger one. Yeah, and like in kind of the about 3 or 4 years ago, I think that was his peak. I can't remember what fights was it like. I gotta bring up a topology page, but I'll go Pitbull.
There's been like fighters, I guess, that felt more dominant. Ben Askren for sure when he was champion. Not the most visually appealing fights, I understand, but
I wouldn't say he's the
dominant.
greatest. I think he was one of their first kind of dominant champions, but I wouldn't put him up there with greatest fighter.
What was the one close call he had, and it ended in a no contest? What happened?
I don't remember any Ben Askren fights in Bellator. I don't honestly. I forgot Ben Askren actually fought in Bellator. So like,
what was it? Am I thinking of? No. What the hell fight am I thinking of? I was thinking of one championship. I swear there was a fight in Bellator that also like wasn't going his way, but something happened. Anyway, I'm just a crazy person. Maybe I was thinking about the Luis Santos fight in one. I don't recall. But yeah, Ben Askren was a really good champion. Hector Lombard was so good, and Alexander Shlemenko early on. Those early Bellator days.
I loved Douglas Lima in his prime was one of my favorite fighters to watch when he was just just leg kicking, head kicking people and just chopping legs apart. Yeah. I loved watching Douglas Lima. Man, you know what? Who knows, man? They might have the greatest fighters right now. We just don't know.
Yeah, we haven't seen them yet.
We haven't seen them. No, I mean, right now, they have Usman Nurmagomedov. They have Johnny Eblen. They have Amasov. Is it Amasov or Amaslav?
Amasov, yeah.
Amasov. Like, we just don't know how good they are, but, like, they could easily be the best Bellator fighters. Bellator just doesn't have that. People just aren't behind it as much anymore. So it doesn't even matter what they do. But, I don't know.
Casey, I want to read this one quick from Joseph Loza. Should Bellator have a women's bantamweight division? To me, Ilima Lei is a women's bantamweight fighter struggling to make 125. Joseph, no, nobody should have a women's bantamweight division. It is a. I'm just 135 and up. That is my. I'm sorry. You make the women's super heavyweight division, and you just say 135 and up. Get in there. That is my rule. So technically, yes, I think they should have bantamweight division, but I want that division to also have bantamweights, featherweights, lightweights. Get in there, mix it up.
Wait, so you're saying someone? So wait, so who is it?
So if Alima did go up to 135, I'd say throw her in there with Chris
Kayla
Cyborg.
Harrison. Chris Cyborg.
Throw her in there with Kayla Harrison. Yep, Chris Cyborg, Kayla Harrison, 155, 150, whatever.
If you're it's 126 and up is basically open weight. For women,
yes, that's what it would be. It'd be the limit would be like 170. That's it. I'd make the weight limit 170. It would be essentially heavy. I would make it heavy. It's women's heavyweight. That's what I would do. You'd go from strawweight to flyweight to heavyweight. That is where I'm.
So unfair. I'm sorry. So unfair.
It's tough. Women's bantamweight is just it's a tough look. It's a tough look. So no.
All right. I believe they should. You just have to build it, and you have to put money in the division, and
you have to.
Like unless there's money there, that's why the bantamweight division became what it was because of Ronda Rousey, because women could actually make money fighting there.
But
so this is when there's more money, you train harder, you get better coaches, you get better training partners, you get better athletes when there's money in the division. And that's why women's flyweight sucked for a while, because there was no money in that division. Once UFC opened it up, once it got a dominant champion, it got better. Now I believe women's flyweight is actually
it's great.
It's great. It's good division. It's sneaking up and being better than the strawweight division in the sense of maybe it's more intriguing in terms of new names involved.
And I'll just remind people what I always remind people about: not just women's bantamweight, women's featherweight, but also a men's light heavyweight and a men's heavyweight and up. Is there's an athleticism barrier, and once you pass that barrier, you're more likely to go into another high-paying, less brain-damaging sport. Like if you're an athletic woman who's in the 140 to 160 pound range or something, you're probably coordinated enough, and you're going to play another sport where again you can make more money and again not get punched in the head. So same. If you're 205, if you're a man 205 and up, and you're athletic and coordinated, you probably, even if you're not playing in the NBA, MLB, there's a minor league somewhere that's probably still paying good money. You go play in Turkey, you go play overseas, you're still making money and playing in professional sports. So it is hard when the higher you go up. And Casey said, it's really about the cash. You splash that cash, you make it worth their while, the talent will come. But as it is, it's not quite there for a lot of athletes. It's very understandable.
All right. You see any good questions?
I don't at the moment. I think we got a lot of good stuff, but what do you got? Oh yeah, sorry. That's the back of my head. I saw a few people ask. Casey, how many chair spins from Hank Hill?
Well, I'm in like a recliner right here, so I can't really spin. And I'm on my staying in someone's place right now, so I don't want to ruin their floors. But for an Apex card, this gets, I think, it gets a spin. It gets a spin. How about that?
Full spin.
It gets a full spin because it's a free Apex card. It gets a full spin. The Bellator.
I want you to remember this because I feel like this is better than next weekend's UFC card. I'll have to double check that. So I'll have to see how many spins you give next week, because I feel like there has to be. I feel like it can't be the same. I think they can't be the same. So if you're giving this a full spin,
what's the main event for next week?
It's a good one, I think. Yusuf and Barboza.
Oh yeah, I think this card's better. Yeah.
But the rest of the card is kind of.
Yeah, I want to see this Apex card. There's a few fights on it I want to see.
Aloe says, how many reclines? How far back would you recline? Let's go degrees. How
lazy can I get this lazy boy?
How far back are you gonna go?
Yeah. This is a feet halfway up, and like or right here. How about this?
Oh,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah. So
that's pretty good.
The Bellator card is the Bellator card is. They're like a lot of Bellator cards. They're kind of uneven in the sense of the prelims and their business model is different. So it's really hard to judge them. It's just they're different business models. But three title fights main. I'm gonna go 3 title fight main card to count that as the Bellator card, and the prelims are just kind of their own thing. Yeah, I give it a solid 2 spins.
Solid 2 spins. Yeah, I agree with that. Would it have made a difference, Casey, if they had kept the Bader fight? If Alima had made weight, would it have made that much of a difference?
No, same thing. Okay, just be honest. Of the 4 title fights, if you had to lose one, which were you okay of losing with?
Oh, I'm not comfortable answering the question.
And I hate saying it, but to me, the Bader Vassal fight was the fight I was okay with skipping out on.
We've seen it. They fought at light heavyweight, and I'm not saying it's can't go different. We say all the time rematches.
Oh no,
often
it could have gone totally different. That's what a good chance of winning.
Often do. Yeah.
So I'm happy. Bummer for Alima. but I still like the 3 fights. I want to see Cyborg Hassan. I like the fight. Usman versus Brent Primus isn't. I want to see Umas. I want to see Usman fight.
Yep.
Usman fight a lot. Brent Primus is just kind of the opponent right now. But I have such high regard of the potential for Usman that he could fight any 55er. I'll be excited about. So I just want to see more cage time from him. I think he's that good.
Along those lines, Jay wants to know what's the most slept on fight, Casey, for Bellator 300 and UFC Vegas 80. Let's go UFC first. What's a sleeper? Let's go with a sleeper for UFC Vegas 80.
This one's easy for me. It's probably obvious. I'm going Murata versus Vanessa. Demopoulos. I'm not gonna say
Demopoulos, yeah. Demopoulos,
yeah. I'm a big Murata fan. She's been out for a while. I think Virna Jandiroba snapped her arm in half about a year and a half ago or so. But I kept up with Murata's career when she fought in Japan. I saw her when she fought in Invicta, and I was excited about her fighting in the UFC. She ran into Virna. Virna snapped her arm, but she's an excellent, fun grappler. And I think just these are 2 grappling heavy strawweights who are going to put a very exciting fight on. So I'm actually hyped on that one. That's my sleeper fight for the UFC card.
For me, I'll say the main card's pretty rock solid. I don't consider any of those fights to be sleepers. I actually really like the main card. So I'll go the prelim closer, Linz Kuchalaba, if only because it just feels like something really stupid is going to happen in this fight. Like there's Kuchalaba is one of the top 5 wild cards of the UFC. You just don't know what you're getting from this guy. You don't know what you're getting from on media day. Much less be an interesting cage. He could smoke Linz in friggin' 15 seconds, or he could do something dumb and get submitted in the second round, get dragged. I don't know, but it's fast. And Linz is a bit of a weirdo himself, so I like that. Casey, what about Bellator? Anything from the prelims jumping out at you?
From a personal note, the very first fight on the Bellator prelims is between one of my training partners. Well, training partner since that we share the same room, but he's a 250 pound or 246 pound heavyweight, so we don't he goes very light with me, but he is making his professional debut, Spencer Smith, and he is going against the blue chip prospect Josh Hokic.
Whoa, he is a blue chip. Is Josh? Is he? I'm sorry, guys. I'm ignorant about Josh. Is he a Division I wrestler? Where is he?
Yeah, he's like a wrestler. Yeah. He maybe tried out for college ball. I don't know. He's supposed to be a super good athlete and super good former football player who's a good wrestler. Wow. And this is Josh Hokic's first professional MMA fight too. No amateurs either. Yeah. So apparently he was training at Jackson Wink. I don't know. We know I was watching Spencer train a lot. They were like, he's a mystery. We don't really know what to expect, because there's no footage on him. So other than he used to be a wrestler. So I'm excited about that fight, and I hope it's a good fight.
Well, now I'm excited. I know I'm excited about it too. No, I'd heard of Josh's name. I don't know why, and I heard people talking about him. I didn't really follow. Apparently high school wrestling pedigree and a few years practice squad in the NFL. And as we know, professional football, one of the best bases for heavyweight MMA.
Yeah. And I trained with Spencer, and Spencer's one tough dude. And he's 2-2 as an amateur, but his last fight, he's been out for, I think, maybe 2 years because actually he was dominating his last fight, and then he blew his knee out during the fight, so he's been out for 2 years recovering, but now he's making his professional debut for Bellator, so cross my fingers. And the fight right after that is I just met her this weekend, Jenna, I don't even know her last name.
Jenna Bishop.
Jenna Bishop, yeah. She's 5-0, and from everyone I talked to down in San Diego, she is just a grappling wizard.
Yes.
And she is. And I got to watch her kind of train a little bit. And I'm now, because I know she is, I'm like, oh, I'm invested. And she's fighting kind of a Bellator vet. And what's her name? Her opponent?
Lara Joanne.
Lara Joanne. So that's the second fight of the night. So actually, the first 2 low-key slept-on fights are the first 2 prelims. So make sure you watch this. I think they start at 3:30 Pacific, and they are free to watch on YouTube.
No, excuse me, on MMAfighting.com. MMAfighting.com. Free to watch on MMA Fighting.
MMAfighting.com. Great website. YouTube.com. Okay, website.
It's a little graded. Yeah, it's Jenna Bishop 5-0 favored, a pretty significant favorite, minus
Oh, she is.
185.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
getting a bit of a late start in her career, a little bit of a late
Yeah,
start.
she's a little late start,
She's up there. But hey, you know what? So did Manon Fiorot, and she's one fight away from a title shot. So, and your boy Spencer Smith, odds are against him. Plus 625 underdog according to Tapology. Josh Hokett, a minus 1,000 favorite. But hey, this is why they fight the fights, Casey. We don't.
And I get that because Josh has a name. Spencer doesn't have a name. He's just a dude that comes to the gym. He has a full-time job, takes care of his 2 girls, and then throws punches me in the face, in between those times.
So hey, Spencer, go shock the world, because that'll be one of the biggest upsets of the year if he takes it out. So you'll love to see it. I will shout out. We mentioned the former wrestling guys. There's a lot of them on here. Romero Cotton's fighting. He's actually an underdog because he's coming off a loss. Bryce Meredith. We got a lot of wrestling quality. But I will point out. I had it in my head and now I just forgot it. I'll go Henry Corrales and Kai Kamaka.
Oh,
I think
of course.
Fight is going to be
dude, that fight's gonna rule.
That is a banger.
Roll. Thank you for bringing that up, Henry Corrales.
Yes.
Henry Corrales, that's a fighter I want to.
Ooh.
I hate saying I want to see him fight in the UFC, but I feel like Henry Corrales is actually a guy I want to see fight in the UFC. Because he is one of the most exciting fighters, and I just love how low key he is. He's just he had one of the greatest quotes after one of his wins. He said something like, I've had a mediocre life, so I'm just in here just to kill people. I don't know. He said something like that. I'm like, I love this guy. But Henry Corrales and Kai Kamaka III, that should be actually a banger of a fight.
That is good. That is good. Okay. I think we have prelim. It's a commercial break, but I assume that means our first UFC prelim just around the corner. So yes, guys, tune into that wherever you guys watch UFC. Bellator 300 prelims will be coming on at 6:30-ish.
We got to do our predictions.
Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. I got to look it up, but we have a channel for this. And then I'll tell people give people the broadcast information. All right, Casey, where do we start? How do I do this?
Main card. What's is Drew Dober the first fight in the main card?
Sorry. Yes, main opener. Alexander Hernandez returning to featherweight, take another crack at it. Didn't look good in his debut, but take another shot at it, and fighting Senor Perfecto, Bill Algeo. Casey, what you got?
I'm gonna go. I still believe in. Is it 45? Okay, 45. I'm gonna go Hernandez decision.
Damn, I love Bill Algeo, so I'm gonna go Algeo decision. But Alexander Hernandez and the UFC must know something we don't, because I think he fought Moicano at featherweight in his first fight. Mm-hmm. So horribly difficult fight. Yeah. So Algeo is still a very good fighter, probably a notch below. But I'm sorry, Billy Quarantillo. But again, a very good fighter.
And Billy Cusick, my favorite fighters.
He's very good. So, but Bill Algeo is also tough. They're not giving if they want Alexander Hernandez.
No, this is a tough fight.
Yeah. It's a tough division. What can you do? The next fight, Drew Dober and Ricky Glenn. Drew Dober pretty heavily favored. I'm going Glenn upset though, man. I'm going decision, Ricky Glenn.
I'm going Dober, second round knockout.
Oh, that'd be back-to-back knockout loss for Glenn. That'd be tough. And before his last fight, he had never been KO'd before, so back-to-back would be tough. A welterweight contest, excuse me. Joaquin Buckley and Alex Morano. Casey, what you got?
I'm going Alex Morano decision.
Oh, trip Buckley up. I'm very high on Buckley at 170. I will go Buckley. Maybe a frustrating first round, and then finds a highlight reel knockout in round 2. How do you like?
You think he's actually gonna knock Morano out? Like
taking him out, flipping axe kick.
Okay, if Buckley wins by knockout, I think it's gonna be a questionable stoppage.
Oh, you're calling for why must you do this, Casey? Why must you call for controversy already?
All right, because Morano gets hit, and I feel like, Morano gets hit, and I feel like refs kind of go, "Oh no, I don't want him to get hurt. You look so nice."
Oh, this guy's so muscular, and this guy's so muscular. This guy's just like in normal good shape. Oh, I can't let him hit him anymore.
Yeah.
Joe Pfeiffer and Abdul Razak Al Hassan, the penultimate fight. Casey, what do you got?
I'm going Pfeiffer in a 29-28. 29-28 Pfeiffer.
Decision. I'll go first round KO. It's pretty tough to get 3 straight first round KOs in the UFC, but I don't know. I guess I'm on the Pfeiffer. I'm drinking that Pfeiffer Kool-Aid, beat Joe Pfeiffer and all that. And then our main event, Grant Dawson and Bobby Green. Casey, where are you going with this?
Grant Dawson in a rather dominant victory. Third round submission.
Whoa, I think we are friends forever on this one, Casey, because I'm also going Grant Dawson, third round submission. Bobby Green, I think, putting on a valiant effort, stuffing a takedown or two, but just succumbing to the younger, stronger fighter. Dawson is, I think on another level as far as his grappling and his athleticism. So I think I'm with that too. It's very hard to submit Bobby Green, but I think Grant Dawson can do it. So there you go. There's our predictions. As we said, prelims starting now. It looks like we've got Montana De La Rosa walking out for a fight with JJ Aldrich. Whoa. And then Bellator prelims, 6:30. Bellator prelims, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Watch those on MMA.com. And then the main card on, what do you guys watch it on in the US? Showtime?
Showtime.
Up in Canada, we have to pay for Bellator.com pay-per-view. I think it's like $20. So I'm just,
That's Canadian dollars. Those aren't even real.
That's true.
Is that real money?
That's like $4 US. So it's not that bad, but it is like 20 Canadian. So you do have to watch on Bellator.com as far as I know. If I'm wrong, people, I often am. But yes, UFC, and the UFC event is all on Fight Pass. ESPN Plus. Fight Pass in Canada, ESPN Plus in the United States. Thank you everyone for joining us for the pre-fight Q&A, and enjoy the fights tonight. For Alexander K. For EKC Leydon, we're signing off.
And one more thing. AK, happy birthday. Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday.
Thank you.